So, I think I'm live. I think I'm live now. Yay, I did it. Had minor technical difficulties. I think just because I'm tired. Because I was streaming most of the day today. Um, I'm just gonna switch some things around so I can see and let people come in. I'm gonna make an announcement on my Instagram. So we're just gonna sit and chill. Oh, hey! We're just gonna sit and chill while I figure this out. Full stream day. I really was doing it. Proud of myself though. So let's just make a quick announcement. Camera's unfocused. There we go. Okay. Um, oh, here we go. Shay, hey! Oh, no worries. No worries at all. Or did I get the wrong day? No, okay. Whew. I was gonna say, now that would be embarrassing if I got the day wrong. Everyone say cheese. Wait. Okay, now say cheese. Wait. There's like coffee cups and stuff in the way. Okay, now say cheese, y'all. Okay. Shay, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm feeling better too. I still have just like the remnants of a little bit of a cough. So I may be clearing my throat on stream. I have some water, I have some coffee, because I'm sleepy. I streamed for almost 5 hours earlier over on Twitch. So I'm a little tired, a little overbooked. But you know. It's all good, it's all good. Oops. Oh my gosh, I did the wrong freaking boom. Mm. Nightbot, please. There we go. Trin tumbles through tomes. Hello, how are you? I'm doing great. How are you? I need to change my chat so that I'm seeing it in real time. How are you? How are you? Everyone, let me know if you read Lightseekers for BlackOweenAthon. I did. Um, Hence why I'm hosting the wrap up. Glad you're good, Trin. I have a little tiny little cup of coffee, and I think it's super cute. This is my favorite mug, so it had to make it onto a stream. But yeah, did you read Lightseekers for BlackOweenAthon, or did you pick another one of the group picks? You got to choose between this one, The Ancient Nine by Ian Smith. Dang, I forgot both of the authors' names for the other books. My bad, y'all. Ancient Nine. Yeah, Ian K. Smith. Oh, check me out. And then the Confessions, Spelling Errors, Franny Langdon by Sarah Collins. Why do I have two lives going on right now on my channel? Oh well, people will figure it out. We're gonna change this one. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So you got to choose between 3 different books for the group read. I happily picked Lightseekers. It seemed right up my alley. I'm going to read the synopsis. I've never done a wrap up, so we're just kind of, going through it. An investigative psychologist travels to a Nigerian town to uncover the truth about the murder of 3 university students. When Dr. Philip Taiwo is called on by a powerful Nigerian politician to investigate the public torture and murder of 3 university students in remote Port Harcourt, he has no idea that he's about to be enveloped by a perilous case that is far from cold. Philip is not a detective. He is an investigative psychologist, an academic more interested in figuring out the why of a crime than actually solving it. But when he steps off the plane and into the dizzying frenzy of the provincial airport, he soon realizes that the murder of the Ogriki 3 isn't as straightforward as he thought. With the help of his loyal and streetwise personal driver, Chika, Philip must outmaneuver those actively conspiring against him to piece together the truth of what happened to these students. A thrilling and atmospheric mystery and an unforgettable portrait of contemporary Nigerian socio-political landscape, Lightseekers is a wrenching novel tackling the porousness between the first and third worlds, the enduring strength of tribalism and homeland identity, and the human need for connection in the face of isolation. So that was just just the quick little synopsis about Lightseekers. At the start of the book, yes, we are following Philip. Philip gets a call from this Nigerian politician whose son was one of the Okriki 3, and he wants to know who murdered his son and the other boys, because what had happened was the town mobbed against these 3 boys and killed these 3 boys right out in the open. It was circling around on social media. Everybody saw the video. The town was just in hysterics and attacked these 3 boys. And we don't really know who did it. And so he gets the call from this politician, and he's kind of put off, and he's like, this isn't really what I do. I'm not a detective. I don't go sleuthing around. He very much just does studies on why humans react and act the way that they do. So his response at first was no. No, I will not be investigating this. Until his father calls. Philip's dad calls him and says, I really need you to take this case. And Philip is like, excuse me? I had no idea that you even knew this guy and what's going on. And his dad is really vague. He ends up sitting down with his dad, and his dad was very good friends with this politician's father. And Philip is still like, okay, how? And his dad's like, oh, I was in a fraternity. And fraternity is very much synonymous with cults. I think that's kind of similar. I want to read it, but I'm not there yet. I'll try to stay spoiler free. Right now, what I'm just talking about is just very, very, very beginning of things. So his dad is like, I was in a fraternity, and Philip's like, oh cool, you were in a cult? Like, no thank you. And his dad's like, no, we were a fraternity. We were much different back then. The kids today have ruined fraternities. But he said, as a brotherhood, they look out for each other, especially each other's children. So he wants Philip to take this case. And Philip eventually does. Another part of the story is Philip is 99% sure in his mind that his wife is cheating on him, because when he pulled up to her offices, she works in a college as a professor. I'm more than sure. A law professor, I believe? I can't quite remember what her profession is. But he looks through the window and he sees her hugging another man and is convinced that she's cheating. So, like an investigative psychologist would, instead of asking, he hops on a flight to solve this case and decides to ignore his wife for a majority of the book. Um, when we get to the small town, when we're on the way there, Philip makes an acquaintance with this woman who is very vague, but she asks him why he's there, and he says to investigate the case, and it was just like instant wall up. She didn't want to talk to him anymore, and he thought that was weird. And she basically had just told him to like be safe. Right when he gets off the plane, very very tiny town, seems a little bit scattered. He immediately meets Chica, who is his driver, and him and Chica decide to map out a plan on how they're going to map out this investigation, who they're going to talk to, and how they're going to attempt to solve it. And Philip is very much from the viewpoint of, well, if the police investigated this, then why am I here? Like, why does the politician want me? You then find out, or this is all still very early on, you find out that there are, of the town, 7 people are on trial for the murder. We don't know who these 7 people are, but 7 people are facing trial. And when Philip talks to the police, he sees that the police also want this hushed up, please no one talk about it. And then the story starts to unravel from there. So for me personally, I really liked this mystery. I thought it was very interesting that a town just suddenly mobbed against 3 seemingly random young men. What had riled up the town is that they heard someone yell, they're trying to rob me, or thief, and then they just attacked in a murderous rage. And this town has a history of things being stolen and taken from them, especially in more of a historical sense, which was fascinating to read about, and I would like to read about more, not in a fictional setting. I would like to read more about Nigerian history, because I do not know a lot. I feel like if I did know that moment when he's going more into the history, that I would understand a little bit more. So I liked the mystery, and I was along for the ride to understand what is really happening and why would this town act like that. I almost forgot the time zone thing. Oh, well, hello! How are you? DJ. Oh, it may not be a capital. I'm gonna have to do this again. I'm off with all my... It's not a capital. Is it? Yeah. Oh, no, it still worked. Sick. Hello. Welcome in, Deidre. Deidre, you DNF Lightseekers, right? So I was just about to say, I was really intrigued in this mystery, and also trying to understand why the town mobbed like this and who really orchestrated it, because it does seem so random. I did not like the main character. I did not like being in the main character's point of view. I did not like his thought process. I did not like the decisions that he made. I just had a really, really, really hard time with the main character, and it, not gonna lie, it tainted my experience in reading this. I feel like for being an investigative psychologist, he did not do a lot of investigating, nor did he do a lot in trying to understand other people. Whenever he would go into understanding people, I felt like it was obvious conclusions. Like a woman yelling at him, he would then be like, oh, she's quite angry. Well, yes, she's yelling at you. I don't have a degree at all, and I can tell you that she's angry at you. But too many things get in my head, and the writing wasn't hidden enough to disregard those things. I will say it's a very quick read. I was able to read it somewhat fast. But I don't know how to talk about this without really spoiling it, but the main character was exceptionally misogynistic at an annoying point, that didn't seem like, oh, it's a character flaw. it seemed like more of like a self-insert because the main character also has the same profession as the author, I'm pretty sure. Um, like there was a part where he advised Chica gets in a little argument with his wife, his pregnant wife, um, and Philip tells him just make up an apology to her, even if you don't know what you're apologizing for. Women just like to hear that you're sorry, so just do that and she'll shut up. Okay. The 19-year-old girl who's having a mental breakdown, he checks out and says that she's like easy on the eyes or something like that, and that her boyfriend did well in picking her. Like she was in like a psychiatric facility for help because she was having a mental breakdown, and he was visiting her during that time, and that's what he thought of the 19-year-old. I couldn't get the author's reply to Renique out of my head, so the main character basically felt like him. It definitely felt like him. So Unique at Uniquely Camille, she read Lightseekers before BlackOweenAthon, actually. I think before it was announced that it was going to be a group pick. And the author responded to her, and she gave it like a 3 stars. Her review wasn't bad. She was like, I didn't really like. She also didn't like the main character. There was like a lot of there's a lot of characters. I remember her saying something about like having to keep track of all the new characters that you're introduced to. And he responded very condescending and basically told her that how she perceived the book is incorrect. And then gave her the correct way that he thinks she should have interpreted the book. He also in his review, or in his response to her review, made a point to tell her that this book is not a whodunit, it is a whydunit. And yeah, shout out for Bree. Deidre, I know that you DNF'd the book, but by the time that you DNF'd it, did you have an exact name of who you thought did it? Because I didn't until the very end, and the full name was stated. He had told her it's not a whodunit, it is a whydunit. And we don't even really get why, I feel like. I feel like we get a glossed over why. I feel like for an investigative psychologist, we do not get a deep, this is why this happened. So that was my problem with it, is it didn't feel super like finalized, especially since he's planning on a second book and it's going to be about like a different case, a different mystery, but like same characters. So didn't get that far. I got to the point where MC was about to start his investigation, like he arrived at the city. Gotcha. So he says that in his review, he basically said that the reader knows who did it in the beginning. And we don't. We have a very vague character in the beginning, but we do not know who that is. I didn't even start the book. Go ahead and cancel me. You ran this readathon? It had a lot going on. Second book, yeah, at the end of Unique, at the end of his response to Unique, he said, I hope to see you in more of Philip and, or I hope you'll enjoy the future adventures with Philip and Chica. And she was like, I won't. I did too. Hey, Unique. I was just talking about your review and his response to his review. Or to your review. Sorry, that I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm so sorry. I need to have more coffee. Also, if the reader knows, if better be written like Nana. Ooh. I know. It was so condescending for her, and like her review isn't like this book is trash, set it on fire and burn it and I hate it. It was like, oh, it was a good read. She said, oh, hey, these things kind of bothered me, sort of, but she didn't even use the word like bother me. The way you didn't ask for it. All the dude that was on that ship, yeah, for real. I hate he said he responds frequently to a lot. There's one person's review that he responds with a 10 paragraph response. Um, yeah, he also started his response to Unique was, "Oh dear reader." So that's kind of annoying. But it did, in knowing how the author was behaving, it really was hard to see the main character in the book because it strongly felt like a self insert. And then where I had to draw the freaking line, and that I took days. Unique knows I texted her and I took a couple days off of reading, and this is somewhat of a spoiler, uh, in the sense of the plot line of Philip and his wife. So, um, while this is on, oops. Okay, so while this is right here, that means I'm gonna talk about spoiler if you want to mute me. But okay, so storyline of he thinks his wife is cheating on him because he saw her hugging a man in a window of her office and then flees the city furious. He then ignores her for a majority of the book, ignores her on their anniversary, and is just so convinced that she is cheating on him. Some things happen in the book. She ends up having to go to the town that he is at to see him. And he decides to kind of like confront her a little bit, because she's acting weird, he's acting weird, and he says something like, "Oh, well, you know, you're with another dude or something," and she starts crying and says like, "Oh, I can't talk to you like this," and then waits a while, and then we get like another chapter, and then she's ready to talk, and then she proceeds to tell him that she was assaulted. So trigger warning for that. She then proceeds to blame herself, and he proceeds to agree with her. And then they decide or she says something like, "This isn't America where everyone believes women." So that's her reasoning for not being able to tell the university that she works at that she was assaulted. And then says, "I'm thinking because our daughter is going to be going to this school, and I don't want what happened to me to be why like teachers don't like her. Instead of, I don't want her to get assaulted also." And the husband is still in agreement, and then gets like slightly mad, and then kind of guilty that he thought that she was cheating, and then they decide to kind of get over it. And then there's another scene shortly after that, like it just ends. So another scene after that, and the gal that I had mentioned earlier that was like kind of ambiguous, and was like, "Oh no, don't go to that town," she ends up being a bigger character. Her thing is that she's really pretty. So because she's really pretty, she must be flirting with Philip every time she talks to him, right? Because if you're pretty, why else would you talk to a man? So his wife proceeds to get pissed at her just for being pretty and standing there. And yeah, yeah. And then she is like, "Oh, well, you must be cheating on me because she said hi to you." And then there's like another weird, "Oh, I think you're cheating" storyline that doesn't make any sense. And I was very upset. It super self-insert. Unique also found out he's been married 3 times. So the way I was not impressed with the ending. America believe in winning. When did that happen? 19 never fucking happening. Right? It literally says that. She says like, "Oh, we're not in America, so no one would believe me like they would there." Who in America is believing black women when we're like, "Hey, we were just assaulted"? I'm sorry. What? Crazy how she had a longer storyline. She did, yeah. And it was just it was just because it's a no. I'm feeling all the ways right now. When I tell y'all I was fuming and texting Unique, I was fuming. Did I bookmark it? I don't even think I bookmarked it. I don't think, but I was just not y'all creeping on the author. It's just the fact that she was like, it was my fault because I was so nice to that man and I helped him with his homework. So of course he would do that to me. And him being like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. I just, that was just absolutely unacceptable to me. That was just unacceptable. So we'll move this in case anybody had to mute. Um, So that's why I was pissed. I also agree with Unique. I don't think the ending was pieced together real well unless he is attempting to string this story along into his second book. I just the ending was a little I've been debating my rating and I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and do 2 stars. I think strongly, and I feel this, I think strongly, if this had been in the perspective of Chica and not Philip, I would have loved it. I think it would have been like 3, 4 stars. But it's a 2 star where it stands. It just didn't do it to me. I just I had to know some things. I gave it yeah, you gave it a 3 and you gave it like a good review. Yeah. Um, but I will say, if you like stories where like no one is telling the main character the truth, everything is hidden, everything's a secret, everything has layers. When you think you have an idea of who a person is, it flips and you actually do not know who that person is at all. Now we ain't trusting Kayode with a. No, Chica's a dude. Chica's his his driver. But I like how layered the book was in that no one was telling the truth in this small town. It gave very confined feeling. And I like that sometimes in books and in movies, that feeling of being very confined and the mystery is here in this small area. I just have to look around a little harder and figure it out. I really, really enjoy stories like that. Um, Although at some point it was a little too much because it did feel slightly like a pattern of characters. Like you could almost tell, oh, they're about to reveal their actual thoughts or where they actually were or what this was actually happening. You could kind of start to pick up on it pretty quickly. Salter, hello! Unique, did I give you your shout out? I don't think I did because I was. Hi, Brandy, how are you? I don't trust him for a sequel. I'm a ghostwrite this diss track response. Oh no. Yes, Alter, did you read it? Brandy, did you Lightseekers or did you read Confessions of Franny Langdon? I can't remember. I'm sorry, y'all. But I liked that this was fast paced because this is such like a high intense scenario. Like a town killed 3 boys. That's that's a lot to take in. So I appreciated that the story progressed quickly. We were getting to things quickly. We were in the town, we were seeing the people, we were feeling the intensity. I enjoyed that aspect of it. I like thrillers and mysteries that it's going to be really quick all the way through and I'm feeling like I'm being like sucked into the story. I really liked that. Nopers haven't read it. I read Confessions of Franny Langdon. Gotcha. And you know what's funny is that once you find out who you kind of already know despite all the lies. That's true. Like what he was saying to Unique that you should know within the beginning, that's true. But I feel like if we're gonna say that this is supposed to be a why done it and not a who done it, then for a why done it, I should know home dude did it. Name, what he looks like, where he is. He's in jail, and Philip is gonna go talk to him. That's how I feel a why done it should be set up. The criminal is on trial or in jail, and the investigative team is going to go talk to the person and be like, why did you do it? And they're going to be like, I'm not telling you. And then you have to go around the town and try to piece together the mind of a madman. That to me would be a why done it. But we don't know that. We have a vague, oh, this person probably had something to do with it, but we don't know who they are, we don't know where they are, and we don't fully know their motivations. By the way, we never find out why. Wait, no, wait. Yeah, we don't really find out why. We start to, and then something happens. I don't know. I don't want to like spoil it for anyone if people have intentions on reading it, because that is literally at the end. But I thought we were gonna go a certain way, and we certainly did not. I honestly can't remember having a live Brandy like to do that. I thought it was in the group chat. I think I might have written it down on my calendar, but I don't know. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. If we're gonna talk about psychology, and especially since Kayode is a psychologist, there were multiple times where I thought, oh, here we go. We're going to hear that like psychologist jargon. We're going to get into details. I'm going to have Google next to me so I can Google these terms and understand some things. And then it just never fully went there. And that's what I was kind of expecting from someone whose profession is a psychologist, and then them writing a thriller and then saying that it's a why done it on why did these humans act this way. I thought we were going to get into the nitty gritty of, yeah, why did these humans act this way. Brie, also, I hope you feel like I'm not like trashing your pick for this being for BlackOweenAthon. It just wasn't working for me at all. But I loved being a part of BlackOweenAthon, and I loved that you gave me the opportunity to be a co-host. And I loved all the other books that I read. It just wasn't, gelling and vibing with Lightseekers. Shamala, hello, how are you? If you ever watched the movie Women, Thou Art Loosed, that is how I thought this book was going to be. I have never read that. No, not trashing the pick. It was just a no for me. Yeah. Yeah, same. It was just a no. A no for me. Is there any points that anybody wants to talk to? Like, I kind of want to spoil some things, but I also, don't want to spoil some things. There is discussions about fraternities and how fraternities are in Nigeria, and we get a little bit of a history of a specific fraternity whose name I have forgotten, nor do I know if it's actually real. But it started out as a political statement and as a form of protest, and then something had happened politically, and then the fraternity was like, okay, well, let's then evolve into saying that we're standing for this thing. So they did that, and they did that. And then, not to say that like nothing was happening in Nigeria, but as that original group graduated, grew up, and whatever, then it just became like cool to be a part of the fraternity, and not much was going into it for being like, hey, let's stand for these things, let's protest against this, let's show and share that we're the young people and we have a voice and it should be listened to. And so then fraternities started to turn more as being a cult. So that was very, very interesting. And like when Philip is interviewing the parents of the boys who were murdered, he asked them, like, were they part of a fraternity? And they'd be like, a cult? No, my son would never be in a cult. How dare you ask? Like, it's a very touchy subject, and one that people get exceptionally offended by if you bring it up. So lots of people tiptoe around it, and they're like, hey, just so you know, he's in a fraternity. Shh. And then they kind of like move on. Got my flu shot today, so my arm is a bit sore, but I'm good. Oh, I'm doing good! I'm slightly tired. I have more coffee. I've been streaming all day, so, you know, just just doing good. Yeah, Philip wasn't a good dad. He has twin boys and a daughter. Um, and when he's ignoring his wife, they buy gifts for their mom for him. So that's really sad. And he's very distant, yet thinks he's close with them. It's just very oddly written. It didn't feel like it was written by someone who has a kid. Not that I have a kid and I can I can judge that, but I don't know, the way he would talk to the kids seemed a little odd to me personally. How I perceived it was just a little strange. There is a part, when I read the synopsis, it had said a thing that was about the enduring strength of tribalism and homeland identity. That is a plot point. There is a character who is very get out of this town. And he's very vocal about it, and he's very vocal that his people have a right to handle thieves or bad people. They have a right to deal with bad people how they see fit due to the history of this town, of which he goes into. That I had kind of mentioned before was a lot about like the land that they were on, things being stripped from them, and the survival of the tribe and of the community, and how he felt because of that he can say and do whatever, and the people in the town can say and do whatever. So that was a very very interesting part. Yeah. Oops, I hit a button. Hit a button that I didn't want to hit. There we go. Sorry, y'all. Let me flip through here and see. Oh, the police were no help in this. In this story. They very much were hiding a lot of things, not only in paperwork, but hiding the fact that more of them were present. That was very 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 interesting. It just for this being written by a psychologist, it just lacked a lot for me personally. I also wanted to know why a crowd of people could act like that in a very specific sense. Instead, it sort of felt like we're just gonna say the Google provided question about the author. Our spicy man's keeps a future wife on retainer. Also, just to mention, it was so funny how easily Philip left and didn't want to talk to Folake. Yeah, and his kids. But at the hospital, instantly was fixed. Yeah. Yeah. He saw her hugging a man, or he saw her being assaulted, and then just decided to leave, not asking questions. And then when she showed up, then now they're going to talk. It was just really interesting how that was handled. Also, added no value to the story. It didn't have any value to the story at all. And that was very annoying because I thought it was maybe gonna play a bigger part, or he was gonna have to go to her for help, for information, for something. Instead, I just gotta, let's blame this woman for things. I don't know. Why do I have this page bookmarked? I'm trying to. Sorry. DJ KPG, how are you? Thank you for stopping by. We are chatting about Lightseekers. I didn't like it. Philip was a punk because Chica was literally ready for everything. Like, sir, maybe you should have stayed in the car. Yeah, it just, yeah. The way Philip went about, oh, I'm doing good. A little tired, but I'm doing good. I'm excited to be talking about this book with everyone. The way Philip went about interviewing people, I thought, because the town was so sensitive, if you walked up and you were going to be like, hey, um, I want to ask you where were or what happened that night, or oh hey, crazy how all of you murdered those boys, or if you mentioned anything, people got pissed instantly, and a wall was built up instantly, and they'd get really really pissed. So I thought we were gonna do some, you know, oh hey, I'm just here, you know, to sell some cookies. I don't know. I thought we were gonna do like some undercover stuff. Instead, he would walk up and be like, "Hi, I'm Doctor Taiwo, and I'm here to investigate." And then people would get upset, and then he'd be like, "God, that's crazy that they got so upset at me." And it was like, yeah, clearly the town has something to hide. So why are you upset that now people are freaking out? I'd like to hear what happened. Yeah, so just basically the rundown. The mystery part of the book was good. Three boys are murdered. The town, the small town in Nigeria, murdered the boys. And we don't know why they did it. They just heard someone yell thief and murdered these three boys. The main character, Philip, is sent to the town to investigate and figure out why this happened and who did it. uh, and I don't like the main character at all. I had a real hard time with the main character, had a hard time with author's behavior. The author responded to Unique, to her review, and corrected her on um, her own opinion of the book. Told her that her opinion was wrong. Also the way women are written in this book is just, if you're pretty, you're a flirt and asking for it. And then if you're not, then you're just mean and angry all the time. And that's the women in the story. Oh, okay, cool. That's interesting. Yeah, it was very interesting. I keep saying I liked the mystery part. If it was just that, I would have liked it. But with the main character, that's where I had to draw a line, and it was hard for me. Um, it was hard for me to read. I'm trying to like flip through the book and find some points. There is one part that I sort of bookmarked, where his wife is back, just again to show that like if you're pretty, you're a flirt. So this lawyer comes in and she's like, "Oh, good, you guys are like safe and okay. I'm gonna go check on my family over here. Glad you like didn't die." And his wife is like, "Wow, who's she?" And he goes, "Oh, that's my friend. She's been helping me on the case." And she's like, "Mm-hmm, friend. You're real good at picking friends." So we're gonna accuse each other. Just the way they accused each other of cheating at a drop of a hat was wild. Was what, without talking to each other, like without having a conversation. Um, there was a little bit of cool scenes. Dang, yeah. There was a little bit of cool scenes about like combing through social media to get clues, and I thought that was cool because it was all with characters that we would not be able to interview. So combing through their social media to see what were they posting, what were they liking, who were they interacting with was a really cool way to see, to get clues. I appreciated that. Again, the minute the main character talked, that's when I got annoyed. It was like all the descriptive parts. I'd be like, oh, this is really interesting. And then the character would be like, ugh, why'd he use an emoji? Why not just use a word to say that you're shocked instead of the emoji? And it'd be like, well, you're clearly 60. You're talking about a kid in university. How do you think they're going to I'm on the author's side because he has 8 kids jump before. Oh no. Oh my god. 8 kids, damn, that's a lot. That explains why the I don't know. It just felt a little bit self-inserty. It just felt a little self-inserty. I if you have not been able to guess, I will not be reading the second book. I am curious to see if certain things carry over because I think certain things could in a really cool way. I think he could prolong this story to where we finally do answer why. But I just don't know if I can read from this main character's perspective again to find out why. Um, yeah. Just personally that's a little difficult. I swear finding that out about him made it so much more clear. It did make some sense. I just think this was a I just think it was a self-insert. Just strongly, which is really sad. I wanted to do more research because in reading his acknowledgments, this is based off of what's this? Um this is based off of a true story. Um but it was for young undergraduates. Um and I did not do more research and I really needed to. That's why I struggled so much with what I was going to rate it, knowing that he based this off of a true story. Um, and maybe that's why he could not definitively answer why this had happened the way that it happened. Um, because I felt like I needed to rate it higher because it is based off of a true story and how accept just wildly horrific is that this actually happened. um but then if I'm given that knowledge that this is based off of something that happened and I felt like this story wasn't great or that I did not like the way the main character told us the story, then I feel like I can dock it some stars. I don't know. I just had a hard time. I should probably do more research on the true event. But I just had a hard time with the main character and having to be in his head. Um yeah, I don't know. Interesting that he has that many kids because he only thinks 2 in the acknowledgments. But he didn't tell it as well, or I swear finding out about him. Oh, wait. But he didn't tell it as well as I hoped, because that is what grabbed my attention in the first place. That's true. It's disgusting that it really happened, but your rating is on the book, not the event. That's true. That's true. I can't put a rating on an event, you know. It's like half the book focused on Philip and Fulake's marriage, then dive back into the reason why he's there. It really did. It really did. This was This was mostly about their marriage and how they have zero trust for each other now. Also, she is his dad's goddaughter. So he felt like if she cheats on him, he can't divorce her because his dad is her godfather. Which adds such a specific layer to this story. But it is brought up like every day Philip goes out investigating at night in the hotel. He's either ignoring a text, ignoring a call, thinking about her, but not doing anything to solve their marital problems or talk to his children. Which is quite interesting. I don't know. I don't know. But all the other books that I read for Lightseekers, I liked. I read The Living Blood by Shannon Reeve. Loved that. What else did I read? Now I'm kind of forgetting. I'm so sorry, y'all. I should have double booked myself because now I'm tired. What's good read? Oh, I read Dead Girls. What is this? Oh, okay. I read Dead Girls. I liked it. I think doing this. Here we go. Sorry. I liked it. I definitely think it was like a debut. I will be reading the second one of Dead Girls. I think there's a lot of growth that will happen. Ooh, excuse me. And I'm curious about her writing and how it's going to develop, because there were some parts I really liked and some parts I really didn't, but I don't know. I'm really interested. Then I read Treasure by Oyinkan Brathwaite. It was really good. It was basically like a cautionary tale about social media and what you post and who sees it and how much of your private life, real or fake, that you post. It was so good and very short. I listened to the audio and the audio was like 30 minutes. We did talk about Dead Girls. Because again, there were some parts I really, really liked. And then there were some parts where I was like, oh, I don't know if I quite like that. The Living Blood was of course amazing. And then Lightseekers. So you know. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about Lightseekers. I guess that's my really long review. I absolutely loved BlackOweenAthon, and I hope all of you did too. I hope you enjoyed all the reviews Bree did for the Locked Doors event. That was so much fun. Please check out her channel. It's linked in my description. Those are absolutely amazing. Because of the reviews, I read a Brandon Massey book and freaking loved it. It's so good. It's so good. I read The Darkness to Come and I'm still thinking about it. His review was phenomenal. What intrigued me about Brandon Massey's review with Bree is Bree had said, "You write women so well." And I was reading this at the time and I was like, what? Writing women so well? Please tell me more. And the way he talked about his writing process and writing characters, I was like, oh, I need to read more. And I did. Amazing. I read The Darkness to Come, read it on Kindle. It was incredible. All I want to know is who's making the next one, because I'm ready. Wait, the setting wasn't my favorite, but I did like the story building of Dead Girls. It's right here. Boop. That's Dead Girls. Who's making the next one? The next what? I'm sorry. I got lost. The next BlackOween? Bree still, of course. Sorry, I got confused. I'm tired, Unique. I'm sorry. But yeah, also go to Bree's Etsy. I believe I linked it. It's not saying that's clickable. Oh no, not us getting the same book in the same format. I'm saying the next readathon. Oh. Still Bree. I don't know who the list of co-hosts are going to be, but I know Bree wants to add more what am I trying to say? Wants to add more co-hosts for next year. So this is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Here's her Etsy. She also released a lot more new products that are really, really exciting. We got a pillow, we got a notebook, we got a mug, t-shirts, phone cases, totes, hoodies. Get into it. So yeah, BlackOweenAthon is lit every year. You should read books written by Black authors all year round. You should read diversely all year round, not just on the months that celebrate um um where's my train of thought? Groups of people. You should, as in Jerry frequently says, read with purpose. You should want to read diversely. There are so many tools out there. All of our co-hosts read very diversely. And recommend very interesting books, give reviews, make videos about. Some are writers. I mean, please take time to follow. I don't read much, but you're right. Thank you for understanding. I think it's easy to be like, oh, like it's Black History Month. I guess I'll read a book by a Black author. You can read it literally at any time of the year. Or like this month is Native American Heritage Month. You can read Indigenous authors all year. Like it's not just, it's not just for this readathon, not just for the month. You know, if you are reading, even if it's only in a couple books, you should want it to be diversely so you can get a better sense of the world and learn of other people's experiences. I think it's a very, very beautiful thing. So, check out our co-hosts. They're all in the description. This BlackOweenAthon this year was so much fun. I'm so happy that I got to be a part of it and I got to meet tons of new people and make tons of new friends and read a lot of books. And even though I did not prefer this book, I'm still glad that it was picked, that it was a part of this group read and a part of BlackOweenAthon. And that we all got to be here discussing it. Even if discussing it is being like, I hated how the character did this. It's still fun to sit with people and discuss books. So I think we're gonna end it here because I don't think I have anything really else to say. I think I gave all of my views. Check out Unique. Because I think she has her Goodreads linked if you're interested in reading the review that she wrote and the response that the author wrote to her. What's my computer doing? Excuse you. And yeah, so have a great night, everyone. Happy BlackOweenAthon. I hope you had a fantastic time. I think the other lives for the group read wrap-up discussions will be announced at some point, so keep your eye on the socials, specifically Breeze. I'm sure she'll be posting the other ones. Thank you so much. Everyone have a great night and happy reading.